Cancer, Sun, Moon and Rising, here is your reading for Gemini season. Have you outgrown old belief systems? Are things no longer fit for purpose? Or have you lost faith in the powers that be? These are important questions and likely questions that you'll be asking yourself throughout the next 30 or so days. The reason that I say this is we start your reading with the Hierophant reversed. And the Hierophant normally talks about social mores, traditions, conventions, the social laws that keep the fabric of community together. Now, the fact that that's reversed indicates here a little bit of frustration or a lack of faith or confidence within both others, but also systems or traditions. Now, that doesn't include everybody by any means, but those that certainly would have us think that they have all the answers or that they perhaps know best. This may very well apply to work, but it may, or kind of your local community, but also the global community as well. You may feel that certain things are stacked against certain minorities or certain communities, and you're starting to see the social injustices that are playing out across society too. That also might indicate the Hierophant in reverse because it talks about belief systems and values. It is ruled by Taurus, which is very much linked with those two concepts. You may just find that you're slightly questioning, actually, does this serve me anymore? Does this fit well with me anymore? Does this feel right? Or have I just perhaps been doing this thing or acting in this way because I've been maintaining the status quo? Let's take the example of certain people with whom you associate with, and you're thinking, actually, maybe I've outgrown this relationship. That could also represent itself in belief systems too. What you had previously held true before may be coming into question. What you've held true about yourself, what you've held true about other people, what you've held true about society at large. There's some big questions going on here, and I think that they're necessary questions, particularly as we enter into Gemini season. And then Gemini season is a lot to do with communication, about our relationship with others. Those things may very well come into question. There's a certain fickleness with Gemini, and yes, okay, that has a shadow aspect of not being able to stick with things, but it brings about a sense of questioning things, of actually, do I need to be so rigid in the way that I see things or accept things or relate to things in a particular way? Maybe it's time for a bit of a revamp, and that is what I feel Gemini season is going to represent for you, Cancer. And I say a lot of this because we have two other major arcana. So we've got three major arcana cards within your reading. So there is very much indicated big shifts and big changes. The major arcana points towards that. And we have the Temperance card and the Strength card, two wonderful, wonderful cards to see. The Temperance has been showing up a lot because as we move into Gemini season, the Gemini represents polarity and duality. You think of the twins that are standing in opposite ways. So they're two sides of the same coin, so to speak. And what Temperance invites us to do is to try and balance out these otherwise seemingly polarizing forces within ourselves and in relation to ourselves and the external world. And the Strength card, and you'll notice that there are both donned in white robes, and white robes typically within the tarot indicate purity and, again, our values and our morals. So these things may be just a point of reflection. They may be at times challenged, and I can't move away from this sense of you questioning a couple of times of thinking, do I want to do this anymore? Does this feel right anymore? Do I actually believe in this anymore? And I think it's really, really key, as it is at all times, but particularly over Gemini season, to ensure that loving your Tarotscope so far, Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so that you never miss a reading. Drop your favorite emoji or share your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. And check out the pinned comment below to find your rising and moon signs for a full 360 view of your season ahead. You'll also find a quick link to sign up for email alerts, so you're always in the loop when a new Tarotscope drops. Now let's get back to your reading. You're living by your ethical code, but just bearing in mind, as we have the Hierophant in reverse, that ethical code isn't one that you've just learnt by rote or dogma, or that has become outmoded, or one that you are just repeating because it is memorized. It's a really good question to pose yourself of, what do I believe in? What do I think is the most valuable force? What do I want to really embody? What qualities and what virtues do I really need to embody? And am I embodying them? And if not, what adjustments and changes that need to be made? Because that is exactly what the Temperance indicates. It indicates those subtle shifts and those subtle changes and that alchemical process. I feel that there will be some quite internal shifts going on here for you this month, Cancer. Not so much externally, that may very well come later, but I would really encourage you to look within, look at what is feeling that is slightly tugging at your consciousness. What feels, as I say, a little, it doesn't sit right. And why doesn't it sit right? And what can I do about that that can redress that? Even if that goes against the majority, even if that goes against authority. So when you're asked to do things, if they don't feel right, then express that. That is really, really key. The Hierophant rules the neck and very much the vocal cords and the inner ear. So this ability to express ourselves, the fact that it's reversed, again, may indicate that you don't necessarily feel free to do so, but it is even more important, therefore, that your head and your heart are aligned, and that you're not doing anything that feels a bit icky, that doesn't sit quite right. And that is going to require from you a high degree of strength, of courage, of bravery, of leading from the heart. I would really encourage you at some point throughout the next 30 days to find some downtime, to find some quiet, to find points of reflection, because there's a feeling with the strength of, and I'm going to use a word that may sound a little off, but there's a feeling here of isolation. Now, that's not to say that you'll feel lonely per se, but it does mean that you're likely to need to kind of figure out what your individual take is. And the only way that can be done is through a little bit of pulling back, so that when you re-enter the fray, so to speak, you're confident in your stand, you're confident in your viewpoint. Gemini is also the house of communication. So that is going to be a really key theme coming through. Are we saying our truth? Are we saying what we really believe? Or are we saying outmoded and outdated belief systems? You know, sometimes when we've outgrown beliefs about ourselves or opinions or viewpoints, that can throw a fair bit into question, because we assume, well, what does that indicate? What does that signify? That means that I'm changing, and what am I changing into? So maybe I'll just stick with the familiar. And there's a big encouragement, no, move away, move forward. What's lovely to see is we have the Four of Wands as well, and the Four of Wands is often the celebration card. It can sometimes be the homecoming card, so you may find that there are reasons to celebrate with the community. You may find your tribe, you may reconnect with people you haven't spoken to for a while. There's just a really lovely sense of solidarity and community and connecting with others that's really that you can really look forward to. There we go, that's what I was trying to say. But interestingly enough, that is in direct contrast with the Hierophant again. really playing out big time, this Hierophant in reverse, because the Hierophant also represents community, particularly spiritual community, but it's almost, you might find yourself leaving one group to enter into another. Finally, we have the Page of Pentacles, and that comes straight after the Strength card, and we have this beautiful resplendent yellow in the two, and you can see that the landscapes are almost identical. It creates almost a vista, and the mountains here are very low. So when we have the low mountains in the tarot, it typically signifies obstacles that are a long way off, or the overcoming of obstacles. When the landscapes are very flat, it usually represents a free passage and being able to roam. The Page of Pentacles always represents to me enthusiasm, curiosity. He holds the pentacle and goes, I wonder what I can do with this. And this seems to be the result of what I was speaking about before, pulling away a little bit, looking at your own resolve, looking at your own virtues, looking at what you believe in, and then going out to enact them. So quite an interesting process. Seems that you'll be leaving the old, leaving things from the past, maybe in a slight moment of, oh God, goodness, what's coming next? What does this mean for me? Who am I becoming? But then leaving Gemini season, just as we enter the summer solstice, you've got this Page of Pentacles energy, which is really lovely to see. It's like, oh, I can't wait to bring this out into the world. Does that help? Does that resonate? Do you have any questions? Drop them in the comments below. Do you want to learn more about the tarot so you can read the cards for yourself? Well, you're in luck. I am releasing videos on the major arcana explaining their significance and my take on them. So if you want to find out more, go and check out the channel at Fiongal Official and check out the video library. But until next time, have a wonderful Gemini season, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.